Daragang Magayon. The Legend of Mount Mayon. A long time ago, in the land known as Bicol, there lived a brave tribal chief called Makusag, whose name means the Strong One. Chief Makusag had a beautiful young daughter named Daragang Magayon, which means beautiful maiden. Magayon's mother died giving birth to her. Magayon grew up to be a kind-hearted girl, as well as very beautiful, and had many suitors who vied for her affection. One of these suitors was the chief of Daragang, and his name was Pog Tuga, which means, when the volcano erupts. Chief Pog Tuga was not only a strong and handsome leader, he was also a great hunter who could hunt and kill any creature on earth with his powerful bow and arrows. Chief Pagtuga was so determined to win Magayon's love that he showered her father, Chief Makusag, with many precious gifts such as gold, rubies, pearls, and diamonds. But Magayon was in no hurry to marry any of her suitors and kept them all at a safe distance until she was ready to choose one to be her husband. Nearby lived Ulap, which means cloud. Ulap was the brave son of a Tagalog chief. One evening, Ulap was walking along the banks of the Yawa River on his way home. There he saw Magayon bathing in the water and immediately fell in love with her outstanding beauty. Ulap hid in the bushes, so that Magayon would not see him, and admired her from afar. Ulap was so enamored with Magayon, that he passed by the river every single night, hid in the bushes and watched the beautiful Magayon bathe in the waters. And with each passing day, his love for her grew stronger and stronger. But Ulap was too shy to approach the beautiful maiden, and he prayed for the day when he would have a reason to speak to her and get to know her. Ulap's prayers were answered when one evening, as Magayon took her regular bath in the river and Ulap hid in the bushes watching her, a storm raged overhead, flooding the area with heavy rain. Caught in the strong current of the rain-filled river, Magayon was swept away by the raging water. This was Ulap's chance, and he bravely dived into the swirling river, swam after the struggling Magayon and saved her from certain death. Ulap carried the grateful Magayon out of the river and to safety on the river bank. After that incident, which brought them together, Ulap and Magayon met every day at the river and swore undying love for one another. Ulap was so happy to have won the love of the beautiful Magayon, that one morning he went to visit her father, Chief Makusag, to ask permission to marry Magayon. Ulap threw his spear at the chief's wooden stairs, as was the custom at that time for suitors wishing to marry. Seeing that his daughter truly did love the handsome Ulap, Chief Makusag consented to the proposed marriage and gave Ulap and Magayon his blessing. The overjoyed Ulap ran all the way back to his tribal village to begin making the preparations for the wedding. There would be a lot of work making new wedding costumes and preparing special food for the occasion. Meanwhile, Magayon's other ardent suitor, Chief Pagtuga, heard of Magayon's impending marriage to his rival Ulap and was outraged. Chief Pagtuga turned his anger into action and kept Magayon's father, Chief Makusag, and held him captive. He then sent word to Magayon that he would kill her father and wage war against her tribe, unless she rejected Ulap and married him instead. The frightened and helpless Magayon had no choice but to give in to the demands of the angry Chief Pagtuga and agreed to marry him instead of Ulap. The ecstatic Chief Pagtuga immediately began to make the arrangements for the marriage. In the meantime, Ulap heard what had happened and also became very angry. He vowed revenge on his rival Chief Pagtuga and began gathering his bravest warriors, preparing them for battle. As the wedding ceremonies began and Chief Pagtuga prepared to become husband to the unhappy Magayon, the angry Ulap arrived on the scene with his warriors. With his bow, Ulap fired an arrow which struck Chief Pagtuga clean through the heart and killed him instantly. Magayon was so happy to see her true love Ulap, that she ran straight to his arms. But before the two lovers could embrace, an arrow fired by one of Chief Pagtuga's men struck Magayon and she fell dying into the arms of Ulap. The dying Magayon looked up at Ulap and whispered, "I love you," and then closed her eyes forever. Before Ulap even had a chance to grieve, another enemy arrow flew through the air and embedded itself on Ulap's chest. The dead Ulap fell across the bleeding body of his dead Magayon, still cradling her head in his arms. The sad death of the two lovers caused the fighting warriors to lay down their weapons and vow never to fight again. They all looked at the two dead lovers, who were still locked in an embrace, and slowly began to fall to their knees and wept in sorrow. When Chief Makusag saw his dead daughter, he cried so loudly that the heavens heard him and joined in his grief by crying tears of rain. The chief ordered his men to dig a grave for the two lovers, and they were buried the way they fell, locked in each other's arms. All the treasures which Pagtuga had given to Makusag were buried with the couple. As the days passed, Chief Makusag sat alone in his house, unable to accept the tragic death of his beautiful daughter. Then one day, he felt the ground beneath him begin to shake and tremble. When he ran out of the house, fearing an earthquake, he was surprised to see that the grave of Ulap and Magayon was growing in size and its tip rising toward the sky. Within a few days, the grave had grown to the size of a mountain. This mountain became known as Mount Magayon. Over the years, the name has been shortened to Mayon. When red-hot lava began bursting from the tip of the mountain, the people of Bicol said this was the fury of Chief Pagtuga, angry over the death of Magayon and livid that he could not retrieve his treasures which were buried with them. Today, on sunny days, when cotton candy clouds touch the tip of the mountain, people say this is Ulap kissing the lips of his beautiful Magayon. The end.
In notes. The legend of Mayon Volcano is a folktale derived from the oral traditions of the Bicolanos of southern Luzon in the Philippines, passed along from generation to generation over the millennia. Being an oral tradition, different versions of it exist, with each version possibly bearing different characters, scenarios, and even endings. But the central theme and its major characters, particularly Daragang Magayon, are usually the same. The text presented here was adopted from one of the more popular versions. The legend of Mayon Volcano and the story of Daragang Magayon, being folktales, belong to the public domain. This video book has been prepared and presented by Books from the Philippines solely and entirely for educational and reference purposes. No copyright infringement intended. Books from the Philippines would like to thank all the people who contributed time and resources in putting together this video book, including those who shared and contributed materials and, more importantly, their time and efforts, free of charge. If you find this material useful, please like and generously share to others who may also benefit from it. You can support us by subscribing to our channel and sharing our video books and other contents in your favorite social media platforms. Thank you.